Howdy folks, it is the command line Vulpine here with a very special video. Today I am releasing Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead Restored. This is a project I decided to do where I am rebuilding Cataclysm. This is a little bit more in-depth than just a mod because there's several different things I'm wanting to change. I don't want to say that it's like a ground up change because I'm a single developer and complete ground up change would be very difficult to pull off. But recently, the Cataclysm subreddit was kind of blowing up, where things were kind of coming to a head that the developers have taken things too far in directions that people aren't satisfied with. I've had that feeling for a long time, since like point E, which was years ago at this point. It wasn't a popular opinion to have back then, but it's starting to become more popular. So rather than just complain about it, like most people do, and as I used to do, I decided, why don't I put my money where my mouth is and try to fix the game myself? Now, I've actually worked on Cataclysm mods before. I made a Five Nights at Freddy's mod way back when that was a lot more relevant. It was like between when FNAF 1 and 2 came out. That was a pretty small mod where it just added the pizzeria and the animatronics into the game. I used like police bot stats to come up with the build for the animatronics. So I've actually had experience with modding Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead before. It's also not the only mod I've ever worked on. I've also made the Lightfire Union mod for Stellaris, which added a whole race of red foxes to the game using official art by real artists. I went and manually messaged every artist to get their permission to use their artwork for that mod. It ended up being one of the more popular furry mods for Stellaris. So that brings us to this. Cataclysm Restored. You might be wondering, why play this instead of like Bright Nights? Bright Nights is something that a lot of people are working on. It's not just a single dev, so they can get a lot more done. I haven't played Bright Nights in a while. What I've heard is that they're actually like pretty far behind. Like, I guess they don't have the new inventory system that was added in Cataclysm 0.f, which is a very long time ago at this point. And that is like one system that I do think should still be in the game, even though a lot of changes have been quite annoying. The new inventory system was a pretty good one, I think. I also think for something like this, having a singular vision could help keep things in check. That might be what's wrong with the base game itself, is that there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. So if I just do this by myself, maybe it'll come out a lot more consistent. I've also been playing Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead since before point A. I was there really, really early, and I've been playing it very consistently from that point onward to today. So I feel I actually have a pretty good understanding of how the game is supposed to feel, and that is going to be a primary focus of what Restored does here. Is it's going to try to return the game to feeling more like it used to feel, while trying to retain the positives of the more modern versions of the game. So, without further ado, let me show you one of the primary things we've done here. I'm just going to do play now. Hopefully it puts us outside and doesn't spawn us somewhere weird. I don't want to make a whole character and stuff. I have not changed anything in like character creation yet. It'll probably be on my to-do list. Okay, we're not really outside. Let's try again. That was like a prison spawn or something. I need to be able to get outside to show you what I've changed. All right, now you can definitely see one of the big things that took high priority in my mind. I added acid rain back in. Now, don't be scared. The only reason it's acid rain right now is I turned on eternal weather just so I could prove that it's working. As you know, rain in this game already doesn't happen as often as it once did. And it's on my to-do list to make it just normal rain a little bit more often. But what I've also done is I've added acid weather back into the game. Are we safe? We do seem to be safe. Also, I made the base tile set undead people because it was always the best tile set. So what's going to happen as we walk around? You get a few seconds, especially now that you can run. Back when acid rain was a thing, you couldn't run. So you could get into cover a little quicker. It also starts with it's the same as regular rain, where it starts with a drizzle. And a light drizzle won't even do any damage to you, a light acid drizzle. It'll tell you that it's a light acid drizzle, and that would be when you'd want to try to get into cover, because then the regular drizzle does do some damage, and then the more intense the storm gets, the more damage it does. But yeah, you can see we are covered with acid. I think we check that here now. This is a new menu that they added. Shift in for the medical menu. Corroding. I don't know exactly how much damage corroding does. Basically what I did was I took like a spitter zombie when they spit at you. I took that effect and I made it a weather effect. So you're just kind of getting constantly spit on by zombies over time. You can see our torso's starting to take a little bit of damage. This is just standard acid rain. This isn't an acid storm or an acid drizzle, so it kind of gives you an idea of how quickly it may or may not hurt you. Pop in this vehicle maybe and get out of the rain. I don't know how long this will persist, but let's find out. It didn't even last too long. This does still make you wet. I don't think I could see a way to like turn off making the acid rain making you wet, but I guess that would still make sense. Did it do damage? Didn't do damage to our gear. I might want to make it so it does damage to gear. And the other thing it won't do, well, actually, like any sort of rain catching thing will collect this as just being regular water, I do believe. It won't be acid water. Only thing this does is it makes it so you have to go indoors. Regular rain is still around, and acid rain should be less common than the way that regular rain works. That was a hard word to say. Is it has to become a certain humidity or a certain pressure outside, and then it rains. What I did for acid rain is I made it so it has to be both a certain humidity and pressure, not or. So it should show up less often. And then also, like I said, it starts with the light acid drizzle. So if you see a light acid drizzle, it will potentially escalate up into the other versions of acid rain. A regular light drizzle, it will stay as regular rain. It won't become acid rain. The only thing that could be either one is cloudy weather can become either acid or regular. So be on the lookout for that. So the other thing that acid rain has replaced is portal storms. In my opinion, Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead was always a zombie game. It wasn't an eldritch horror game. There were demons, there were blobs, there were always triffids and mushroom people, fungaloids. But to me, the way that I interpreted that is that all of these are different apocalypses all happening at the same time, which is also acid rain. Like that, the blob can't cause acid rain, right? That is some other kind of apocalypse happening, nuclear winter or something. So I've disabled portal storms. I'll still keep all the eldritch monsters in the game for when they spawn normally, but portal storms are gone. Acid rain will kind of do the same thing that a portal storm does anyway. When it occurs, you will have to get into cover. It's actually very cool. The Undead People tile set actually has acid rain icons, and that's kind of crazy because I'm pretty sure Undead People started being used after acid rain was already out of the game because they took it out in like point C or point D. And I think Undead People was like point E when it became the primary tile set for a short moment. But yeah, that's why it's green. And actually also, let's switch to ASCII. I've also put in my own, well, not my own, a custom font for ASCII mode. I believe this is Topaz 8. It's just a very nice square font. And as you can see, even the raindrops on this are green. Seeing something like this might give you some nostalgia for the good old days. ASCII font and acid rain. It's been a long time. All right, let's see what our characters are wearing to talk about some other things. Looks like we're wearing fairly normal clothes, so this might not be like the best representation of what all's going on. Look at the cargo pants here. Breathability is up to 110% on both of these things. I absolutely hate the sweating and breathability systems in this game. I'm highly on record of being very upset about those. Infamously, my character almost killed themselves. They almost died of dehydration because they were boiling a pot of water. That's how stupid the sweating and breathability system was. My guy almost killed himself just by boiling a pot of water. I don't care if he was in heavy armor. If you are cooking in your kitchen in real life and you're getting too hot being next to the burner, you're going to step away from the burner. You're not going to sit there and let yourself die for no reason. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in video game history. We're not putting up with it. The problem is I do not know how to remove features entirely. So I can't just remove sweating and breathability. The only thing I could do is make it so that all materials are extremely breathable. And a little behind the scenes thing. It's also very annoying to edit items now. It used to be your item JSON file, all the numbers like the encumbrance, the warmth, the weight, everything, all the numbers would just be under that item. What they've been doing is now, like, there's no breathability number on an item. Breathability is determined by the makeup of materials it has, and you have to go elsewhere into a different JSON to edit what materials have as their breathability setting. And then I also ran into the same thing with weapon accuracy. For some reason, weapon accuracy has been removed as just being a number, and now it's like a combination of the weapon's length, its grip. It's really strange, and I don't know why you'd make it so needlessly complicated. But speaking of weapons, the other thing that was a primary thing I wanted to fix is item length. So when the new inventory system came out, it added that backpacks have a limited length an item can be and still fit in the backpack. And this length was actually very short. I can't remember what it is on the top of my head, and this character doesn't have a backpack. But the length was very short. You cannot put a plank in your backpack. And that was sort of the critical thing. You have to haul planks around everywhere. So not being able to just put them in your backpack was incredibly annoying. You also couldn't put, like, your crowbar in your bag, your shotgun in your bag. And none of it made sense anyway, because what you could always do in real life is just leave your bag unzipped and have something sticking out of it, right? But they never added such a feature into this game. They did add more like belt loops and stuff, so that there's more things like a crowbar can go into. But at the end of the day, all they should have done is just not done the max item length thing. So that was very stupid. So what I've done is every storage type item, which is like backpacks and stuff like that, bags, satchels, all storage type items have a incredibly high max item length now. I made it 999 inches, I think, which should be able to fit any length of item. I did not touch any volume or weight or anything like that. Everything else is the same. It's just I want to get rid of max item length as being a thing. And I didn't even do it to like clothing. So like our cargo pants, they should still have a max item length. This one has a max item length of 7 inches. I did not change it for clothing and stuff because obviously any kind of clothing pocket is going to be pretty small. Your pants pockets, things like that. So those aren't changed, just larger bags are changed. Well, any kind of bag really has been changed. So for now, that covers everything I've changed for Cataclysm Restored. I am working off of .h stable. And from what I've heard, the experimentals after .h are where things have really degraded. So I might have to make a separate build of Cataclysm Restored for experimental. But I also won't be able to just keep that updated all the time as fast as this game updates, which is several times a day, because there's so many people contributing. I'm just one person, so I don't know if I'll ever get to fixing experimental versions, but I will try to keep this up to date on any kind of stable version. I'm also going to use this video as an area to get feedback. So if you leave comments below of things that are in the game that you don't like, things that have been removed from the game that you did like, let me know in the comments below, and I'll look into fixing them. Like I said, though, this is going to be more... This isn't going to be for everyone. Like, Bright Nights is probably going to be a little bit more for everyone. Acid Rain was removed for the game for a reason. It can be a real huge pain in the ass if it catches you out in the middle of the field. I might have to adjust the numbers on stuff like the Acid Rain, because it did almost kill us. We were only out in it for a minute, maybe. Minute 36 seconds. We did wait in the car a little bit too, so we were probably only out there in the Acid Rain for a minute. But like I said, it does start as a drizzle first, so that might need adjusted. And I think that about covers it. Basically, the gist of it was I had to put on the Infinity Gauntlet and said, fine, I'll do it myself. It's no use just complaining about it. No one's going to listen. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to hit the like button, keep the conversation going in the comments, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And until next time, I hope you have a good day.